Hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Listen, today I want to talk to you about the difference between acting in theater and acting in film, and how do you make the transition from theater into the film world. So the first thing is you're going to hear a lot of people who are going to say acting is acting, there is no difference. And why there is some truth to that in terms of how you create a character, there are very, very different techniques. And the way I like to explain it as simply as possible is that acting is like a spray bottle. So if you turn the novel on wide spray, you send all the liquid out, okay? If you turn it on narrow stream, it goes straight forward into a designated target, we can say. And so that's basically the difference between film and theater acting, right? So theater acting, you're always told you've got to reach the back row, and so what you do is big enough and broad enough, depending on the size of the performance space, that you can reach everybody that's out there. Film acting, basically you're acting in the most part as if everybody's like a foot from you. So the thing about it is, if somebody is a foot from you and you're like, "Well, Tom, I think we ought to go to the movies. What do you say?" People are going to run terrified away from you, okay? And I say this from personal experience because I'm quite sure that when I began going on film auditions, I was acting in a theatrical style for film. In fact, there was a particular casting director who I won't name, who would say, "Ugh, you're just so theatrical." Now, it's commercials, right? And so a lot of times commercials are a little over the top. Let's look at Flo from the Progressive commercials, right? But this particular casting director did not care for the fact that that was my default style. So after a few years of actually taking on-camera classes, I understood what the difference was. So the first thing is, if you want to make the transition from theater into film, is to get into an on-camera class. Now, the thing is, they're not there necessarily to teach you how to act, although some do offer that. What they are there for, hopefully, is to give you some technique so that you understand how to play to the camera if you're doing commercials or if you're breaking the fourth wall, or how to modulate and regulate what you're doing for the camera. In general, this is a very big in general. For film, you want to be much more economical and careful about what you do, because the smallest thing is going to read so big to your audience and they're going to impose a meaning on it. So you want to be careful not to do so much that they can't follow you, or to do a lot of incidental things that may confuse them. The other thing is you basically want to allow the camera to read your thoughts. That's the beautiful thing about film, and that is the terrifying thing about film. The camera can read your mind. So if you're looking at your co-star and you're really thinking about your grocery list and the fact that you need to get broccoli, milk, and Oreo cookies, then that's pretty much what's going to read on your face. So, for example, I don't suggest that you go for your grocery list when your co-star is over there giving some lengthy monologue, right? So you have to be engaged every moment, and a lot of times what it is not necessarily saying anything, because quite a bit of film is actually silent. It's a lot of establishing shots, there are a lot of reaction shots. So the rule of thumb is, in theater, you pay attention to the person who's talking. In film, you pay attention to the person who's listening. So you want to become an extraordinary listener. This is one of the reasons that I have found that taking improv, studying improv, has been so amazingly helpful for both my stage and film work, because it has taught me to be an extraordinary listener when I'm on film, because I know that everything that I need is coming from the other person. Now, there is a distinct difference between commercial acting and film and television acting. So depending on what you're interested in getting into, I would take a commercial acting class, which will help you understand the different ways that commercials are filmed and how to act in them. And then I would also take a film acting class. Now, we kind of put film and television together, but it's really important to understand that within those two worlds, there are many genres and subgenres. For example, the way you would act in a three-camera comedy, something like a Friends or a Seinfeld or a Big Bang Theory, is very different than the way you would act in a drama, an episodic drama like Ozark, okay? So the three-camera sitcom format, a little bit more like theater, a little bit more broad, you're setting up and delivering jokes versus just straight acting, which you would do in a drama like Ozark. So it's important to understand those distinctions and all these subgenres within those two worlds. The other thing you want to do is you want to look at eventually getting an agent. Because here's the thing, although you can get a certain amount of jobs on the independent or student level, you're not going to be looked at for the bigger jobs, the SAG jobs, unless you are with an agency. So you're going to want to start looking at what different agencies require for submission. Now here's the thing, you may be an incredible actor, you may have lovely headshots, you may have a wonderful resume, but if it is all theater, I can almost guarantee you that your agent is going to want you to take some on-camera classes, because there is no point in them representing you and sending you out on auditions if you don't know what you're doing, because that means it's going to be very, very difficult for you to book a job. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Please subscribe to my video channel so that you will get all the videos as soon as they drop, and some that I don't advertise. Also, please like us and share with friends. Lastly, I would recommend you sign up for my exclusive email list. You can find the subscribe button on my website, www.saragaston.com. I often share materials, insights, and sometimes some audition notices that I don't share anywhere else. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. It has been my pleasure. Break a leg out there.